Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. The moment had arrived. After months of rumors, legal filings, and escalating public scrutiny, Sean Jay-Z Carter entered the courtroom, not as a titan, not as a legend, but as a man defending himself against grave allegations tied to Diddy. With Diddy's world collapsing, and freak-off parties now part of sworn statements, Jay-Z was pulled into the chaos by association. His name was linked to rooms he swore he never entered, events he claimed never occurred, and victims he insisted he never knew. But how would he face the jury, the press, and the culture? What would he say with the world watching? This is the moment Jay-Z testified. The courtroom had just calmed after a morning of legal sparring. The prosecution was set to revisit evidence tied to Cassie Ventura's testimony. Diddy's attorneys shuffled papers, half distracted, overly assured. Then the door swung open, not quietly, not by chance, but with purpose, like someone ready to confront a long-buried truth. Jay-Z walked in, dressed in a midnight navy suit, tailored like a shield. He didn't glance sideways. No nods, no Beyonce, no Rock Nation entourage. Just him, a global icon, stepping into a courtroom that hadn't anticipated him. Not like this, not under oath. Gasps rippled through the room. The gallery half stood in reflex. A journalist's pen clattered to the floor. Cassie Ventura, seated near the prosecution, leaned toward her lawyer, whispering. Even the judge raised an eyebrow. Diddy turned, his gaze fixed on Jay-Z like he was seeing a ghost from decades past. This wasn't expected, not by the media, not by the public. Jay-Z had requested a closed session for his statement, but the court demanded transparency. Now, he was about to deliver the performance of his life, not with rhymes, but with raw truth. He took the stand, swore the oath, and the room, filled with federal prosecutors, entertainment reporters, and lawyers who once sealed million-dollar deals over mimosas, leaned in as if hearing a Forbidden Tracks opening bars. His voice was steady, controlled, but taut, like a wire stretched tight. "I want to be clear," he began. "I'm here because silence isn't an option anymore." That single line shifted the air. When Sean Carter speaks, not the mogul, not the rapper, but the man, it's not just testimony, it's a reckoning. Jay-Z didn't lead with denial. He led with context, and that was more potent. Yes, I was invited to Diddy's events. Yes, I attended some, but what I saw and what I was told were worlds apart. He spoke deliberately, his lawyers tense, Diddy's team visibly rattled. Was he helping? Was he turning? The truth unfolded slowly. I saw the setups, the NDAs, the confiscated phones, the curtained back rooms, he said. I never entered those rooms. I never signed those papers, but I knew. He paused. I knew something was off. That admission cracked the courtroom open. It wasn't just about being present. It was about glimpsing the machinery of Diddy's alleged empire. A system Cassie, Don Richard, and others had detailed in harrowing testimony. Jay-Z faced the jury. In this industry, there are parties, and then there are parties. The ones I started leaving weren't parties. They were orchestrated about power, not celebration. The prosecution pressed. Did you witness anything criminal? Jay-Z paused. Not directly, but I saw enough to know I didn't belong there. He recounted a 2015 Miami event, supposedly for Christian Combs' birthday, where things turned strange. They had masks, he said. Real masks. One guy passed me in leather and heels, looking scared, not festive. Jay-Z said he left early, calling his own driver to avoid any tie to the night. Then the prosecution showed a blurry, authenticated photo. Jay-Z, Diddy, LeBron James, and Beyonce in a room with a man in a latex mask kneeling on a velvet cushion. Jay-Z stared at it. I saw that moment, he said. They called it performance. Art. I didn't buy it. I left. He looked at Diddy. You knew people trusted you. You used that. Diddy's jaw dropped. Then came the bombshell. Jay-Z revealed a 2018 conversation where Diddy, sensing investigations, warned him, "They're coming for me. Be careful who you stand near." Jay-Z asked directly, "Did you do anything I can't recover from?" Diddy allegedly replied, "Just parties, Jay, just experiences. Nobody gets hurt unless they choose to." Jay-Z's voice wavered. That was our last real talk. He stopped taking Diddy's calls, skipped Revolt events, and distanced Rock Nation from Diddy's orbit. The prosecution unveiled an email from 2020 between Jay-Z's legal team and an anonymous source, warning that NDAs from past events could be weaponized against attendees, even those uninvolved. Jay-Z nodded. I knew what it meant. They'd use silence as a shield. I wasn't going to be trapped by it. He ended with a line that sparked headlines. He was my brother, but now I see who he really was, and who I could have become by staying too close. The room fell silent, the fallout just beginning. As Jay-Z leaned forward, hands clasped, his voice grew heavy. The courtroom, already shaken by the trial's allegations, felt the shift. Jay-Z wasn't just a celebrity. Caught in a scandal, he was a husband, a father, defending his legacy. I need to talk about my family, he said, eyes on the jury. When my name gets dragged, so does theirs. Jurors leaned in, reporters froze. Even Diddy, scribbling notes all morning, looked up. Jay-Z spoke of the toll on Beyonce and their kids. Blue Ivy's old enough to read headlines, he said. She asked me what a freak-off was. No father should face that. He described the chaos after the lawsuit named him. Reporters at their home, paparazzi at Blue's school, headlines blending truth and lies. My wife has stood by me through everything, he said. But this was different. This was a bomb. Dropped on our family, built on falsehoods. Addressing the claim that he and Beyonce attended a 2015 Miami freak-off, Jay-Z produced flight records. We were in Paris, he said. It was our anniversary. Hotel Plaza Athénée, here. Our receipts, photos, videos, and witness accounts. The court verified the dates. The evidence held. Jay-Z didn't stop there. He called out the culture of clickbait and unverified gossip. When did accusations become convictions? He asked. When did we stop demanding proof? His reputation, he said, wasn't just his. It was tied to his wife, his children, his community. I've built something clean, something that uplifts, and one headline smears it without evidence. He spoke of Beyonce as a mother blindsided by lies, not a celebrity. I'm here to defend the truth, he said, and ensure no one, not even a billionaire, buries people in lies. Jay-Z's voice sharpened as he tackled the claim he attended a freak-off at Gloria and Emilio Estefan's Miami mansion. I've never been to a party at Gloria Estefan's house, he stated. Not in Miami, not anywhere. He presented security logs, transportation records, and charity event programs detailing his whereabouts. That night, he was at a Sean Carter Foundation dinner in Los Angeles at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Here's my speech, the guest list, a photo with the mayor, he said. The court displayed security footage confirming his timeline. The real impact came when he dissected how the rumors started. Vague lawsuit phrasing and innuendo, he said. You don't need a loud lie, just one repeated. His name was tied to Diddy's events from years past, not evidence. I went to a brunch once, so now I'm complicit in everything he's accused of? He showed a report of news outlets spreading the false claim without verification. Not one asked for comment, he said. As the judge validated his records, Jay-Z told the prosecution, if you're dragging me into this, bring more than gossip and guesses. The testimony took a surreal turn as Jay-Z addressed the conspiracy theories swirling since Diddy's fall. I've been called a lot, he said, but Illuminati puppet, master manipulator, murderer by association? That's new. He acknowledged TikTok deep dives linking him to Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Jeffrey Epstein. They say where there's smoke, there's fire, he said. But sometimes it's just fog machines and YouTube edits. He debunked claims about Aaliyah's death, Michael Jackson, Tupac, and silencing Diddy's freak-off witnesses. Not one shred of evidence, he said. He held up a printed Reddit thread with thousands of upvotes speculating about his inner circle with Beyonce and Diddy. This is journalism now? He asked. The theories had real-world impact. Family members followed, business deals lost, death threats received. Then he admitted fault. I stayed silent too long, thinking the truth was obvious. I underestimated how fast lies spread with slick production and eerie music. He closed. I'm not asking for your love. I'm asking you to think. To demand proof. If we don't draw a line now, no one's safe. As Jay-Z finished, the lead prosecutor, a sharp federal litigator known for rattling celebrities, stood. Mr. Carter, he began, you've provided compelling evidence you weren't at Gloria Estefan's house, but you've admitted attending Diddy's events, brunches, fundraisers, award parties. Jay-Z nodded. Public, industry events. Nothing like what's described here. The prosecutor pressed. Did you ever see anything inappropriate? Jay-Z paused. I saw enough to leave, he said. Celebrities networking, music playing, nothing more. As Jay-Z finished, the lead prosecutor, a sharp federal litigator known for rattling celebrities, stood. Mr. Carter, he began, you've provided compelling evidence you weren't at Gloria Estefan's house, but you've admitted attending Diddy's events, brunches, fundraisers, award parties. Jay-Z nodded. Public, industry events. Nothing like what's described here. The prosecutor pressed. Did you ever see anything inappropriate? Jay-Z paused. I saw enough to leave, he said. Celebrities networking, music playing, nothing more. You never saw Cassie Ventura in distress? The prosecutor asked. Jay-Z's jaw tightened. She was Diddy's partner, often there, but I never saw her distressed or anything like her testimony. The prosecutor pivoted. So you're completely blindsided by her claims of coercion, abuse, freak-offs? I didn't see it, Jay-Z said firmly. If I had, I wouldn't have stayed silent. The prosecutor referenced Russell Simmons, drawing a gasp. Jay-Z's attorney objected. The judge sustained. The implication lingered, but without evidence, it was just strategy. Jay-Z's final words cut through. I'm not here to shield Diddy. I'm here for my name. If I was part of that world, I wouldn't be testifying. I'd be on trial. He stepped down, adjusted his jacket, and glanced at the gallery where Beyoncé's absence was palpable. He exited with security, but the courtroom buzzed. Reporters sent frantic texts. Social media exploded with headlines. Jay-Z breaks. Silence under oath. Jay-Z defends family from Diddy ties. The internet had its verdict, but the jury remained. Unreadable Juror 4, a middle-aged black woman in beige, scribbled notes. Juror 9, a young man with a military haircut, stared at the empty witness chair. An alternate juror bit his pen, brow furrowed. A former bad boy intern, sketched by... A court artist wiped tears, later telling a reporter, he says he didn't know, but we saw him at those events. Maybe he didn't see what we saw, or he looked away. Cassie stayed stone-faced, glancing up only when Jay-Z mentioned Blue Ivy, her look questioning his motives. Diddy, stoic until now, fidgeted, tapping his pen faster, eyes scanning the room. Jay-Z's testimony hit him, not as betrayal, but as a sign the ship was sinking. The judge called a recess and the hallway erupted in debate. Some backed Jay-Z. He brought receipts. What more do you want? Others doubted. He's saving face. He's been in that system forever. The truth lay in the middle, elusive. At Rock Nation, tension reigned. Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, said only, Mr. Carter testified truthfully. We stand by his integrity. Within hours, outlets from TMZ to the New York Times dissected his words. Some praised his candor, others called it calculated. Beyoncé's name trended for 36 hours. Her publicist stayed silent. Fans split. Some defending her fiercely, others questioning her and Jay-Z's ties to Diddy. The prosecution regrouped. Jay-Z hadn't broken their case, but he'd muddied it, humanizing himself and shifting focus. Yet he'd highlighted the industry's pattern of plausible deniability. The DA's statement was terse. Mr. Carter's testimony is significant, but our investigation continues. Then came 50 Cent, posting a photo of Jay-Z on the stand. Nice performance, but we ain't forgot them brunches. It went viral. Other celebrities chimed in. Alicia Keys shared a quote about truth. Questlove posted cryptic emojis. Oprah alluded to rising from ashes. Jay-Z's reputation took a hit, but held. His testimony forced a reckoning. Silence was no longer viable. The courtroom wasn't just trying Diddy, it was judging an era of power, access, and protection. Jay-Z survived the stand, but the real trial of legacy was only beginning. The courtroom drama had only intensified with Jay-Z's testimony, a seismic event that reverberated far beyond the federal building's walls. As the trial resumed after the recess, the air was thick with anticipation. Every seat was filled, every eye trained on the next move. The prosecution, now on edge, knew they had to pivot. Jay-Z's testimony hadn't just defended his name, had reframed the narrative, casting doubt on the strength of their case against him while sharpening the focus on Diddy's alleged actions. But the trial wasn't over, and the prosecution wasn't done. The next witness was a surprise, a former security guard who had worked for Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment in the mid-2010s. His name was Marcus Reed, a burly man with a shaved head and a no-nonsense demeanor. He took the stand, his hand steady as he swore the oath. Reed claimed he had worked dozens of Diddy's events, from award show after-parties to private gatherings in Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. The prosecution wasted no time. Mr. Reed, the lead prosecutor began, did you ever see Sean Carter, known as Jay-Z, at any of these events? Reed nodded slowly. Yeah, I saw him, a few times. He was at a couple of the big parties, industry stuff, like the BET Awards after parties, maybe 2013, 2014. The courtroom stirred. Reporters scribbled furiously. Diddy's legal team perked up, sensing an opportunity. The prosecutor pressed further. And did you ever see Mr. Carter at any of the more private events? The ones described as freak-offs in prior testimonies? Reed hesitated, his eyes flicking toward the defense table. Not that I recall, he said. He was usually at the public ones, mingling, then gone. The prosecution wasn't satisfied. They showed Reed a logbook from a 2015 Miami event, the same one Jay-Z had referenced in his testimony. This is your signature, correct? The prosecutor asked, pointing to a security check-in sheet. Reed confirmed it was. And this event, hosted by Mr. Combs, was at a private residence, not a public venue. Correct? Reed shifted uncomfortably. Yeah, it was private, but I don't remember Jay-Z there. I saw a lot of faces. It was a big night. The prosecutor raised an eyebrow but moved on, sensing the jury's skepticism. Jay-Z's attorney Alex Spiro seized the moment during cross-examination. Well, Mr. Reed, you've worked hundreds of events, correct? Reed nodded. And in those chaotic, star-studded nights, can you confirm every single guest? Reed admitted he couldn't. Spiro held up Jay-Z's timeline from the same night. Security, logs, charity dinner photos, and the Los Angeles Museum footage. Does this jog your memory, Mr. Reed? That Mr. Carter wasn't in Miami that night? Reed shrugged. If he wasn't there, I didn't see him. The jury exchanged glances, some nodding slightly. The prosecution's strategy was unraveling. Reed's vague testimony didn't directly implicate Jay-Z, but kept the association alive, muddying the waters. The judge, sensing the shift, reminded the jury to focus on evidence, not speculation. As Reed stepped down, the gallery buzzed with whispers. A blogger in the back row tweeted, "Security guard can't pin Jay-Z, but Diddy's team is grinning. This ain't over." The prosecution called their next witness, a former Bad Boy assistant named Tasha Green, who had worked closely with Diddy's inner circle from 2012 to 2016. Tasha, a petite woman with sharp eyes, walked to the stand with a folder tucked under her arm. Her testimony was a bombshell. She claimed to have organized several of Diddy's private events, including the 2015 Miami party. I handled guest lists, NDAs, phone collections, she said, her voice steady but low. It was standard for those nights. The prosecution asked if Jay-Z was ever on those lists. Tasha paused, then shook her head. Not for the private ones. I saw him at public events, like album releases, but not the after-hour stuff. He didn't sign those NDAs. The courtroom exhaled. Diddy's lawyers scribbled notes, their confidence waning. The prosecution pushed Tasha on the freak-off details. Masked attendees, controlled environments, coerced participants. Tasha confirmed the setup but didn't tie Jay-Z to it. I heard his name thrown around, but I never saw him there, she said. People assumed because he and Diddy were close back then. Spiro, on cross-examination, hammered the point home. So to be clear, you have no evidence, documents, photos, or otherwise, placing Mr. Carter at these alleged events. Tasha shook her head. None. The testimony was a blow to the prosecution's attempt to link Jay-Z to Diddy's inner circle, but it didn't absolve Diddy. Tasha's descriptions of the freak-offs were chilling. Rooms with locked doors, NDAs signed under pressure, and attendees who seemed out of it. She recounted a 2014 incident where a young woman, not named in court, was escorted out after refusing to participate. She looked scared, Tasha said. I quit a few months later. Cassie Ventura, still seated near her attorney, stared straight ahead, her expression unreadable but her hands tightly clasped. The judge called for a brief pause to review. New evidence submitted by the prosecution, a series of text messages allegedly between Diddy and an unnamed associate discussing damage control after after the 2015 Miami event. The text didn't mention Jay-Z by name, but referenced big names needing to stay clear. The prosecution argued this implied Jay-Z's involvement, but Spiro quickly objected, calling it speculative. The judge agreed, striking the text from the record but allowing the jury to hear the context. The move frustrated the prosecution, who were struggling to regain momentum. Outside the courtroom, the media frenzy grew. TMZ posted grainy footage of a 2015 party, claiming it was the Miami event, but the timestamp was off, and Jay-Z was nowhere in the frame. X erupted with hashtags. Jay-Z testimony, shock Diddy trial, doc freak off files, trending globally. A viral thread claimed Jay-Z had dodged a bullet with his receipts, while another accused him of playing innocent to protect his empire. Beyoncé's fans, fiercely loyal, flooded platforms with support, sharing old photos of her and Jay-Z at charity events to counter the narrative of their involvement. Back inside, Diddy's demeanor was shifting. He whispered to his lead attorney, his gestures more animated than before. The weight of Jay-Z's testimony, combined with Reed and Tasha's accounts, was tightening the noose. The prosecution's next move was to recall Cassie Ventura, whose earlier testimony had painted a vivid picture of Diddy's alleged manipulation and abuse. Cassie returned to the stand, her posture rigid but her voice clear. She didn't address Jay-Z directly but focused on the culture of silence in the industry. "People saw things," she said. "They just didn't speak." The prosecution asked if she ever saw Jay-Z at the private events. Cassie's answer was measured. "I saw him at public parties, like everyone else. The other stuff, I don't know who was behind those doors." Her words were careful, but the implication hung heavy. Jay-Z may not have been involved, but his proximity to Diddy raised questions. Spiro, on cross-examination, gently pressed Cassie to confirm she had no evidence linking Jay-Z to the freak-offs. She nodded. "I never saw him there." The jury took notes, their faces still unreadable. The day ended with the judge adjourning until the following morning. As the courtroom emptied, the hallway became a battlefield of opinions. A group of Diddy supporters chanted outside, holding signs proclaiming his innocence. Across the street, a smaller crowd held posters supporting Cassie and other alleged victims. Reporters swarmed, shouting questions at anyone who passed. Jay-Z, shielded by security, left through a back exit, avoiding the chaos. His team issued no further statements, but the silence spoke volumes. The trial was exposing more than Diddy's alleged crimes. It was peeling back layers of an industry built on power, access, and secrets. Jay-Z's testimony had shifted the spotlight, but it hadn't cleared the air. Posts on X speculated wildly, from claims of a cover-up to theories that Jay-Z had cut a deal to testify. A prominent music journalist tweeted, "Jay-Z walked a tightrope today, defended his name, but didn't sink Diddy, smart or spineless." The question lingered as the trial prepared for its next phase. The prosecution hinted at more witnesses, former Bad Boy artists, event planners, even a tech expert to analyze confiscated devices. Rumors swirled that a bombshell video might surface, though its contents were unclear. For Jay-Z, the stand was behind him, but the court of public opinion was still in session. His legacy, tied to Beyoncé, Rock Nation, and decades of cultural influence, hung in the balance. Diddy, meanwhile, faced a shrinking circle of allies, his empire crumbling under the weight of testimony. As night fell, New York's skyline glowed, but the city's undercurrent was restless. The trial had become a cultural flashpoint, a reckoning for an era where fame shielded the powerful. Jay-Z's words echoed in headlines, on podcasts, and in group chats. "If we don't draw the line here, none of us are safe." The next day promised more revelations, more questions, and no easy answers. The courtroom wasn't just a stage for justice. It was a mirror, reflecting an industry, a culture, and a moment that would define legacies for years to come.